Welcome to Southwest Desert, where adventure meets the arid beauty of the American Southwest. Join us as we explore the rugged landscapes, uncover hidden historical gems, and dive deep into the rich legends and culture of this iconic region. Subscribe now and hit the bell icon so you don't miss out on our latest desert adventures. Please leave a like or comment. This is very helpful. Let's journey together into the heart of the Southwest Desert. Imagine this. It's 1824, somewhere in the brutal wilderness of what would become Arizona. 14 American mountain men crouch behind rocks as Apache war cries echo through the canyon. Their horses are gone. Their fortune in beaver pelts, worth thousands of dollars, has vanished. Half their party lies dead, and the survivors face a terrifying choice. Attempt a desperate 200-mile walk through hostile desert, or die where they stand. One of those men would become the most controversial figure in Western history. His wild tales would captivate readers for generations, if only anyone could figure out which parts were true. This is the story of the Gila Trail, a forgotten pathway that changed America forever, where Apache warriors matched wits with mountain men, and where a teenage runaway named Kit Carson took his first steps toward legend. In 1822, two expeditions departed the American frontier that would crack open the western wilderness. William Becknell loaded a caravan toward Santa Fe, blazing what became the Santa Fe Trail. William Ashley sent 80 young men up the Missouri River to trap Rocky Mountain beaver, among them Jedediah Smith, Jim Bridger, and Tom Fitzpatrick. When both expeditions returned with staggering profits, news spread like wildfire. By 1823, hundreds of beaver trappers rushed toward the mountains. Among them were the men who would follow the Gila Trail: Ewing Young, Joe Walker, Old Bill Williams, and the Carson brothers. The Rio Grande and Gila River systems teemed with beaver, a trapper's paradise. But this was Mexican territory, and the newly independent Mexican government banned American trapping. The mountain men ignored these laws, establishing headquarters near Taos and stripping the Rio Grande bare by 1824. The Gila River presented a different challenge. The Mexican government lacked enforcement power in the wilderness, but they didn't need officers. They had the Apache nations. The Apaches were divided into fierce tribes, none more terrifying than the Mimbres of southwestern New Mexico. They controlled the upper Gila and Rio Grande Valley from Council Rock, a massive copper outcropping where metal chunks weighed over a ton. These weren't random raiders. They were strategic warriors who had turned fighting into an art form, and they were about to meet James Ohio Pattie. In 1824, James Ohio Pattie arrived in Taos with his father Sylvester. Years later, James published a book about his adventures, either the greatest survival story ever told or outrageous fiction. According to Pattie, he'd rescued a beautiful Mexican woman from Comanches, earning permission to trap the Gila. He claimed to have bribed the governor with 5% of his profits. The rescue was probably fiction, but the bribe. Mexican governors loved under-the-table payments. In December 1824, Sylvester organized 14 mountain men and set out to test the Gila's riches. Following trails south to the Santa Rita copper mine, they hired Mexican guides to reach the Gila headwaters. The expedition followed the Gila westward to present-day Arizona, where the river plunged into a narrow canyon. For 2 weeks, they struggled through what Pattie called a heartbreaking region of towering peaks. When they escaped to better trapping grounds along the San Pedro, their luck changed dramatically. Streams thick with beaver soon loaded their horses with valuable pelts. The men dreamed of Santa Fe fortunes. They should have watched the bushes. According to Mangas, Coloradas, future Mimbres chief, Apache warriors had shadowed the trappers for days, fascinated by their beaver-catching skills. The Apaches were impressed, These whites trapped more efficiently than Indians. Better yet, they did all the tedious pelt preparation work. There was one problem. The trappers shot at any Indians they spotted. The Apaches found this annoying but not concerning. The whites were doing free labor, preparing pelts the Apaches could simply take when ready. That moment came as the expedition prepared to leave. The attack was swift and devastating. Half the trappers died instantly. Survivors were stripped of everything except their lives. The Apaches took horses, supplies, and all those carefully prepared beaver pelts. Pattie later claimed they'd hidden furs in a secret cache, but Mangas Coloradas told a different story. His warriors simply waited for the work to finish, then took everything. The proof appeared when Mimbres gathered at Council Rock. Warriors wore beaver pelts, and one giant wore a distinctive red undershirt belonging to Sylvester Pattie. That shirt earned its new owner a terrifying nickname, Mangas Coloradas, red sleeves. Only 5 expedition members reached Santa Rita alive. While Patties learned Apache warfare lessons, 17-year-old Kit Carson was transforming into a legend. He'd run away from Missouri in 1816, found Santa Fe trail work, and traveled to Taos hoping to join his mountain man brothers. When Kit arrived, his brothers had departed north. No expedition leader would take him. Too small, too young for dangerous mountain work. Fortunately, Kit knew Robert McKnight from Missouri. McKnight had taken over the Santa Rita copper mine and gave the boy work driving ore wagons to Chihuahua. At Santa Rita, Kit displayed remarkable abilities. He won friendship with the giant Apache warrior Mangas Coloradas, learned their language, and understood Gila country as well as the Apaches themselves. In spring 1829, experienced mountain man Ewing Young tried the Gila. His first expedition was disaster. He barely escaped alive. But Young never gave up. That fall, he assembled 40 of Taos's toughest mountain men, including Kit Carson as camp boy and interpreter. Young had heard about the boys' Apache relationships and language skills. The expedition started well, but reaching the treacherous canyon country, Apaches attacked. This time was different. Young's men were ready for war, fighting back with devastating effectiveness. In that first battle, Kit Carson proved himself far more than a camp boy. His rifle spoke with deadly accuracy. When smoke cleared, he'd earned his first kill and cut his first rifle notch. He'd graduated to mountain man. Young's band fought off several more attacks, trapping as far as present Phoenix before working back along the Salt River to the Verde. By the time they'd trapped the Verde to its source near Flagstaff, fur packs were as heavy as pack mules could carry. But Ewing Young was just getting started. Standing at Little Colorado headwaters with a beaver fortune, Young faced a crucial decision: follow the safe route back to Taos or chase rumors of incredible California wealth. Young chose adventure. He split his party. 22 men returned to Taos with collected furs, while he headed west with 18 best men, including Carson. Their pioneered route roughly followed modern Highway 66 between Flagstaff and Los Angeles, but in 1829, it was 300 miles of unmapped wilderness. Young prepared methodically, making deer hides into water bags and drying meat into jerky. Even with preparations, the crossing was brutal. Half their animals died, men became walking skeletons, but they reached Mission San Gabriel in early 1830. Young's California expedition was spectacular success. They trapped northward through San Joaquin Valley, reaching San Francisco Bay with bulging pelt packs. At Mission San Jose, Young diplomatically recovered stolen horses from mission fathers, earning supplies and goodwill. But the return journey nearly ended in disaster. At Los Angeles, Mexican officials demanded Young's passport, preparing arrest when they found none. What saved them was shocking violence. 2 of Young's men, James Higgins and James Lawrence, had been feuding. When the party got drunk in Los Angeles, Higgins simply dismounted and shot Lawrence dead in cold blood. The Mexican constabulary wanted nothing to do with men so tough they'd kill each other over grudges. They retreated hastily, and Young's party continued. By reaching Gila headwaters on return, Young's expedition had collected over 2,000 pounds of beaver pelts worth thousands of dollars. But they faced one challenge: getting illegal furs to market without Mexican arrest. Young's solution was masterful deception. Near Santa Rita, he sent all men except Carson back to Taos. Then they went to the copper mine, hid their massive fur cache in an abandoned shaft, and covered it with rubble. Continuing to Santa Fe empty-handed, Young obtained a license to trade with Apaches for a small bribe. He and Carson filled saddlebags with trinkets and returned to visit old friend Mangas, Coloradas for weeks. When they finally reached Santa Fe with a wagon of beaver pelts, they were credited with history's most successful Apache trading venture. Mexican authorities never suspected those traded furs had been trapped illegally throughout the Southwest and California. Young had outwitted everyone, but more importantly proved the Gila Trail was a viable Pacific route. Following Young's success, the Gila Trail became as well known to mountain men as the Santa Fe Trail was to traders. By 1832, the watershed was overrun with American trappers, and the Great Mountain Man Age was ending. Young, ever the businessman, had noticed incredible California livestock quality during his expedition. With Santa Fe Trail trade booming and enormous Missouri demand for horses and mules, he saw new fortunes waiting. Kit Carson joined Northern Rockies expeditions, organizing his own Carson Men Band. For the next decade, he'd roam the entire western wilderness, learning it as well as a farmer knows his fields. The Gila Trail had opened a pathway from the American Southwest to the Pacific coast, proving California wasn't impossibly distant but reachable for determined Americans. Within 2 decades, that pathway would carry immigrants to California in numbers, making Mexican independence irrelevant and American expansion inevitable. If you would like to see a lost gold story by where I grew up, click on the link in the description. Join my Patreon community and discover my art print products on my website in the links provided in my description and link above. Also, if you would like a particular image from my videos, give the timestamp for image, and I will upload it to my website and Patreon. Thank you for joining your desert frontiersman Alan for another Southwest story. Check out my large catalog of Southwest videos and playlists on historical tales, legends, lost gold stories, and adult bedtime stories. If you like a certain image from my videos, tell me in comments and give timestamp. Happy trails! Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe for more great content. Hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. See you in the next video.